Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, what's been going on most recently with the price action, what I kind of expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button, I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. We are going to be reviewing what was spoken about in our stream on Twitch this morning. Okay, there's a few developments and changes that have happened, but if you do want to kind of get up to date with the kind of the more detailed version of this, then jump over into the Twitch. Link is in the description below. Okay, let's kind of make a start, right? There's a few things to kind of talk about. Let's start by tidying some of these things off that were not on here from yesterday. Okay, so we're kind of talking about this kind of fifth wave down lower. And we kind of had ourselves a scenario where it could or could not go down lower, and depending on what would happen around some key resistances, right? So basically we saw ourselves pull back down. We're saying that actually it would make a really nice structure if we come down and visit once more. Okay, so yesterday we had this yesterday morning, and this is the one that by the time the video had actually gone out, I think we were somewhere around here, and you know, actually the video had gone out on this particular candle. I think this one just up here or something like that, and basically we're saying that one more time down here would actually make this quite a neat structure. Obviously we actually pulled down, we bounced up, we pushed back down, we bounced up, we pushed back down. Now there's an importance to this pattern that needs to be acknowledged, and that is that the market was kind of longing, or people were kind of long in the market yesterday, right? Basically looking for this bottom, which is quite a clear one. We were looking at this as kind of an area for a reversal, and a lot of people were kind of, you know, taking that gamble, if you will. And as a result, what you tend to find is pockets of liquidity would have opened up here on this swing low as we moved up, and obviously the market reverses down and grabs that liquidity. Okay, now you can argue this might be institutions, this could be whales, or it could be market makers, right? We could be a series of different people hunting for liquidity. So the price coming down, taking those positions out, it isn't surprising, okay? But we do it more than once, and that is the surprising part, okay? So this one here opened up a long position at this point. We go up. If you leave your long and you don't actually exit out on time, then you come back down, grab that liquidity. More long positions are opened up then down here. Price moves up again. It reverses back down, grabs that liquidity. Maybe this time they gave it a little bit of buffer, a little bit of room, and thought that maybe that'll protect them. Again, the price comes back down. The price moves up, and these are the things with these long wicks here. You can see that there's a lot of liquidity pushing the price back up again, right? And we can see it within both of these particular wicks here. Okay, and you can see this high wick here also getting smacked back down again, and we have new lower lows getting set, right? So right within this structure, we can see that actually a lot of liquidity and a lot of positions were liquidated. And we spoke about this on the stream this morning on Twitch, right? Now, down here, we have 1, 2, 3 really long wicks. This is actually quite a bullish setup. However, we aren't too confident because we're finding ourselves up in this upper area of resistance. So let's go ahead and draw these on, right? So basically down here, we have this little area, and I'm just going to draw it right in there. You can see that we come into this range and we kind of come right back out of it, right? You can see we're trying to turn it into a support line right now. Okay, so the previous closed positions on those particular candles are now where we wicked down to on here. Okay, but there are a few things that we are concerned with on Bitcoin. It's still possible that we have some volatility around this area before we actually do start to move on up. Now, the interesting thing about this is that we are end of structure. Okay, we're end of a 5-wave move. So wherever we decide to put our kind of stop losses on a long position here, we have to give ourselves plenty of room. So we have got this local bottom over this side, okay, this swing low, and this is also now an area of liquidity that could be up for grabs if the price does want to reverse an additional time, okay, so just be aware of that. If we're going to go long, we're going to make sure that there's lots of breathing space if it's something that we want to do, or alternatively, let's wait for a bit of a move away from these swing lows and actually kind of, you know, get some confidence back in, right? But we're going to keep an eye on it because it could go in either direction still. We can acknowledge that we've gone 3 waves up, so let's go ahead and draw these on, right? We'll go 1, we pull down here, 2, and we kind of have that third wave up there. So it looks like we've actually done an ABC structure of 1, 2, and 3 like that. Okay, it's kind of done already there, which means this could either be a 4th wave, still waiting for a 5th wave down out of our entire structure here. So let's go ahead and draw it on 1, 2. This could be 3, that could be 4, and we could still come down into 5. Okay, and all of that would then be wrapped up as an overextended 5th wave lower than our original expectations, which were up here, right? This is our original expectations, and as I was saying, we came into it in an odd structure, so it's possible that actually now what's going on is we're completing this in a proper structure. Okay, it could also be an ending diagonal, and there's lots of different ways we can kind of count it. It's a really quite a difficult one to kind of get our heads around with exactly what is going on with this fifth wave. But it is a fifth wave, and we've either completed it down here, or we've got one more push to the downside. And we'll know as soon as we start crossing up some of these higher thresholds whether that's going to be where we finish. Okay, so for the most part, that's kind of where we sit with this. Now, if I go ahead and remove our counts off of here, just so we can see the candles a little bit clearer, and I bring the stochastic RSI up, we can then start talking about the fact that we're overbought on our 1 hour chart. Okay, so we're maybe going to see some volatility and bring the stochastic from overbought to oversold, right? Now, the interesting thing about this is our little indicator on the right hand side here shows that we're overbought on the 1 hour chart, as we can see here, but we're oversold on the 4, the 8, and the daily. Okay, so for the most part, we're actually looking pretty good for a move to the upside. Okay, so we know that we're close to a reversal in our structure. And this is actually one of those kind of points in time that don't come around that often with a big swings in the market. Okay, and when we see a big swing in the market, we get some pretty good gains across the board, whether these are altcoins or whether they are Bitcoin, right? So we're talking a good maybe 5% move from Bitcoin to the upside. I think maybe even potentially more, depending on kind of what goes on with structures and things like that. So we'll keep a close eye on it. But for the most part, it's looking quite encouraging, right? The stochastic RSIs are indicating pretty decent levels. Now, for anyone who is interested in this particular indicator on the right-hand side here, this is for Patreon members, so links in the description below if you're not already a Patreon member, and if you are a Patreon member, this is available in our Discord server, and if you can't see it, just @mention me and we will drop it in, or @mention any of the admins and they'll drop it in there as well. This is the first indicator we've created on the channel, and we'll probably create lots more of these as time progresses if we find anything useful. Okay, so just bear in mind that that's where that comes from. You can't search this for under indicators. It's an invite only, and it's only for our Patreon members. So if you're looking for it, that's where you'll find it. Come back into price action though, we are expecting 3 waves up, right? So that big reversal to the upside is going to be into this big yellow box, in my opinion. Now, we've spoken about this before. We obviously have our 2 little areas here as well, these 2 little slithers. These are interesting areas. We're either going to get rejected from here, we'll come back down, and then we go up probably into this higher range here, where we also have areas of resistance. So I'm thinking about this area and what we're kind of looking for. We're looking for anywhere between $19,778 and $20,309. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for in terms of this progression to the upside. This I do think is going to take us all up into overbought on all those timeframes that are currently in the oversold area, and basically allow us to then to talk about that move to the downside, because I do think this is a part of a much bigger play. As we can see, this is 5 waves down, 3 waves up. The next expectation is going to be 5 waves down, and we're going to be talking about coming down towards this lower area where there's additional liquidity around the $18,000 level, $18,500 approximately. Now, obviously, we can actually take a bigger structure once this is done. We can actually take a standpoint on grabbing this, moving it over to our theoretical high point, and showing exactly where we're going. It's just a tad too soon to do that. We actually have to finish this 5th wave down lower. We have to finish the 3 waves up, and then we can predict out where we're likely to go on the 1-to-1 ratio on a slightly larger scale. Now, if I zoom back out, there's the obvious that actually this is a part of a much bigger play. Could be a wave A down here, wave B up here, and actually what tends to happen is that next 5 waves drop is actually going to be an impulsive drop like this. Okay, and this could then lead us into going another 3 waves up, and then finally dropping down into the final 5 waves lower. And I actually think around the $15,000 is actually a really good place to be. So, you know, thinking about that, that could be a really neat example to kind of finishing off this bear market low, right? An unexpected move that people maybe weren't thinking about, going down into the new lower lows, but staying just above the threshold of $14,600, preventing us from going into a macro 5-wave structure on our weekly chart. Okay, and let me show you what that looks like. It's right in here, right? We can see that 1.618 comes in here at $14,645, right? So if we were to drop down to that level, then actually it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drop, taking us lower than $10,000. Okay, so this is always the big worry when it comes to BTC as to kind of what is going on, where we're going to land, and all that kind of stuff. From our monthly standpoint, we are just below the previous all-time high. We closed down here for the first time at the end of September. So in October, the question simply becomes, are we now turning this previous area of support into an area of resistance, and is that going to be a catalyst for big change to the downside? Well, obviously we are thinking, you know, $9,500 approximately, being the actual end. So there's lots of things to think about. There's lots of different structures to think about. Essentially, the biggest concern is creating a 5-wave drop on our weekly time frame, which obviously then takes us down into that lower than $10,000 level by the time it actually finishes and completes. So, we can talk about the here and the now, and we can be all positive about a bit of a move to the upside. It's all great for trading, accumulating your positions and all that kind of stuff. But essentially, the macro landscape doesn't look great. So we always have to keep that in the back of our mind. If in doubt, we zoom out and all that wonderful stuff. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.